What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing you another video. So today I want to do a video on Power Rangers Dino Charge episode 13. Now I want to say this, I know that I'm not releasing it the day that it comes out. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. Sadly, I was away the day that the episode came out, so I had to wait till it was put up online, which took a while, and also I was busy in the morning today, so there's not much I could do. So anyway, I finally have seen the episode, and I want to say first of all this is the 800th episode for those that are unaware. 800 episodes now. So this is great because the show has gone on for that long, which means you have to think to yourself how much they've accomplished, and you have to really give them some thanks and congratulate them on that. I mean, really, I definitely am very happy about this. I've seen like pretty much every single episode myself, and I'm just happy to think that they've come that Saban's come that far with the show. It was a very good episode for those that are curious. Yes, it was a good episode. But let's get into the actual review. So the episode, first of all, is called Sink or Swim, which is an interesting episode, and it's one that I wasn't surprised that they would do it at one point, which is the general theme is jealousy. Now you might think to yourself, and they've done that a lot in a lot of different shows. Yeah, it's a jealousy episode, so I just want to give that away a little bit, but it's fine. So the episode starts off with us hearing about seeing Wrench putting together a bomb that they're going to use on the Rangers and on the planet or whatever, and he's setting up this bomb, and at the same time we get introduced to a villain known as Smokescreen. Now, Smokescreen is a villain that I don't really remember all that well. Usually there are villains that are super iconic from Kiro Oger. He's one that I kind of recognize, but not all that well. Like, there are some that had very unique looks. He's one that kind of felt not that different, not that unique or anything. Though the only thing that is kind of bizarre about him is when he gets big, he doesn't look anything he looks similar, from the torso up, but from the lower half he looks very different. But let's not jump ahead here. Anyway, what happens is that Wrench and Smokescreen are supposed to go down to Earth and plant the bomb somewhere near the Rangers, obviously, and that was the plan. In the meantime, we find out that Kendall is organizing an event for the town, which is supposed to do with fossils and digging up fossils and all that stuff. And she's extremely stressed out, and Riley's supposed to help her out and all that. And it becomes a bit of an issue. Eventually, we have this moment where we see Tyler trying to flirt with Shelby and trying to be. Trying to get closer to her, because we've already gotten that sense that there is some kind of relationship that could form from that. So what happens is that eventually he decides to put on this jacket that she saw in a store that they went by, and she said that it looked good, and then she said it looked good on the mannequin. Now, and I guess not on him. So that really was a big burn. So then eventually we saw Ivan, who came out of nowhere on a horse wearing a knight's armor, and he is a knight and he's wearing knight armor, and it was just kind of funny, and he was on horseback. So that was an interesting moment. Shelby was actually attracted to Ivan. Tyler, though, was kind of jealous of him because of all the attention he got, and how she instantly got attracted to him from his looks. So he wasn't necessarily all that happy. In the meantime, we ended up eventually seeing Kendall getting annoyed at all these people taking pictures of Ivan, because it's he looks like he's putting on a show or something like that, and it's distracting from her event, and just in general he needs to get some modern clothing because he doesn't have any. So what this results in is Shelby offering to go and take him shopping to get some clothes that will be more appropriate. And she decides to go on horseback with him to go find some clothes. In the meantime, the Rangers decide. In the meantime, what happens is that we find out that our villains, Wrench and Smokescreen, are planting the bomb in Tyler's car, which they plan on using eventually. Now, originally their plan was to put it in the car and then just get it to explode while it's in the car. And Wrench was supposed to put it in there and set the timer. He didn't set the timer, so it never bursted so it never even was set, even though it was in the car. But they had no idea that it was there, so it's not like they were able to just take it out or something. Anyway, following this, they everyone that wasn't Tyler or Shelby goes over to where the event's being held near the park and sets up the event. It's called like the Fossil Day event or something like that. And the Fossil Fun Day. And it's for little kids or whatever. And the thing is that Kendall's extremely stressed, but all the Rangers are trying to help out in some way. And Tyler's supposed to help out with checking everyone into the event. So eventually we find out that we finally get to see what outfit Ivan got. Now, it isn't like Super Mega Force where we got Orion to have a whole entire fashion show kind of thing where there was a goofy kind of aspect. It was very quick. It was just like, okay, well, now he has the outfit, which is smart. I'm glad that they did that rather than what they did in Super Mega Force, because it's not as good. That was not as good. So they just kind of gave him an outfit, which was the same jacket that Tyler was wearing. And, Tyler was kind of annoyed it was kind of like, wait, this is the same jacket you got him the same jacket I'm wearing? And so at that point it was kind of like that's not a great moment for them. And everyone liked the way that Ivan looked a lot, and he did look good. So people really praised him, but they didn't really think much of Tyler in the outfit. So it wasn't the best moment there. So then, seeing how everyone praised him for his outfit, and yet no one really liked Tyler's outfit, he became jealous, of course. And he decided at that moment, you know what? There was an older lady there. He's a knight. He's very much so into chivalry. Here's a thought. Maybe I can trick him into helping this old lady. And the thing is that on the ground there's a whole area of mud, and she has to walk past it. So he decides. So Ivan, being a gentleman, being someone who is a knight, decides to put down his jacket and be respectful to the old woman, and she gets to walk on his jacket to cross the muddy pile. So then instantly Tyler decides at that moment to say, okay, everyone, as quick as you can, guys, keep going, everyone needs to keep going, get past the mud or whatever. And so right as after the lady walks on the jacket or whatever, Ivan's ready to take it, put it away, but the thing is that everyone starts walking, following her and stepping on the jacket, resulting in so many people passing over it, dogs even passing over, animals, everything, and just in general, it becoming ruined. And Ivan realizes instantly that clearly this is going to become a moment of fighting. So at that point, he tries to act mature and just says, I see what you're doing, and I'm just not going to even comment, more or less. So that all happens. Ivan's obviously not particularly happy. Tyler's not necessarily happy. Right. We then finally see Smokescreen and Wrench talking to each other and talking about how they didn't set the timer. So then what happens is that they have to set the timer, and in this case, Smokescreen uses his smoker's gas, which is basically like fart gas, more or less so. But it's weird gas because it's red, and it leaves a red cloud all over the place, resulting in the Rangers being curious and everyone being curious as to what is causing it. So the Rangers decide to look and try to find the origin of it, and they see that it's coming towards where Tyler's car is. So they go over nearby it, and they find out that and they suddenly see that Smokescreen and Wrench are setting the timer on the bomb. When Wrench and Smokescreen are caught by the Rangers, they instantly Smokescreen uses even more of that gas to blind them a little bit and give them enough time to get away. In the meantime, there was a little bit of fighting because they're confused as to where they're supposed to be going or whatever, and then eventually the smoke fades. Which at that point the Rangers decide to go and after they see the villains running away and run after them. The thing is that Wrench manages to decides to escape without Smokescreen, and that's also due to the fact that they've been having this continuous conflict over who's leader during this whole entire episode, and Wrench decides that he will leave and let Smokescreen get destroyed, basically. So eventually that happens. He leaves. Wrench leaves Smokescreen, and we suddenly see the Rangers in front, face to face with Smokescreen, and Tyler and Ivan are fighting over how to say it's morphing time or whatever, and like he's like, you have to like Ivan's like, you have to do it up all fancy, like rather than the way that you always do it. It's kind of boring or something like that. And so eventually someone's just like, you know what, just morph, forget it. And so they all do their morphing sequences. And not only do they morphing sequences, but they actually do their whole entire like roll call, which is something that they don't always do, and it's nice to see it with all 6 of them, which I think they did like in the past episode or 2, but it's still nice to see because, you know, it's a good concept and it's a good thing to have, but it is something that takes a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of characters you have to do a roll call for. But you know, it works a lot, and so that happens, and they begin to fight the Vivixes. And eventually they use their Dino Steel mode to further attack them. And it becomes a pretty good battle for a while. They use their weapons as well, which is great. Eventually Tyler and Ivan decided to fight Smokescreen alone, and they're fighting each other at the same time to prove that who's the best warrior against him. And they realize that this is ridiculous. We should be fighting together rather than against each other, because we're not going to get anywhere with this. And they decide at that point that it's better that we use teamwork rather than fight each other, and they agree to make up. And it's a very, very quick makeup, but it's realistic enough to the point that it makes sense. It's not something that's way too sappy also, which is nice. It has enough for it to be real, and at the same time still have the, you know, very basic young feel that it would have in that show. So it makes sense. Anyway, that all happens, and eventually they manage to use the Dino Spike and the Terra Saber attacks to destroy Smokescreen in his regular form, and then they find out from Smokescreen, because he decides to by accident tell the Rangers about the bomb, which after Smokescreen is destroyed, all the Rangers except for Tyler decide that they are going to go after and stop the bomb, and Tyler decides to go use the Megazord alone. Following this, though, Ivan, seeing the opportunity to actually further show a sense of teamwork between him and Tyler, Ivan decides to actually go separate from the Rangers that are going after the bomb, and get the Terra charge, the Terra Zord out, and combine it with Tyler's Zord, suggesting to Tyler that like ourselves, our Zords must work together as well. And so at that point Tyler was like, I agree with you. And so then they combine and go into Tristego Terraformation, which is a great look to the Megazord, and one that I was definitely curious about when it was going to happen. Obviously, we haven't seen all 6 of them together. We only saw the 2 of them, but it makes sense for this episode, and it was a logical thing for them to do, seeing as to the fact that our Red Ranger and our Gold Ranger were the focus of this episode, and it seemed only likely that this would lead up to them combining Zords. And since the Red Ranger since Tyler doesn't have his own individual Megazord, it would make sense that the entire Megazord would combine with that. And just in general, there really is no other combination that would make sense. So anyway, that happens. It's a great fight against Smokescreen while the Magna Beam's been used by Sledge, obviously. And the fight lasts a while. As I mentioned before, there's something unique about Smokescreen's body in this fight, is the fact that for some reason, once you get past his torso and everything, and once you get to his waist, it like goes down long, and it looks like a snake body, and it's like a serpent or something. And I look at that, and I'm just like, what the heck are they doing? Why did they give him like a serpent like body? They go from having this normal legs and everything to having a serpent like bottom half. So it's very unusual, but it's a good battle, and it ends well for the Rangers. And then what happens is that while the other Rangers are trying to stop the bomb, Sledge sees how they're almost able to stop it and decides to make the bomb bigger, and they realize at that point they can't stop it because it's way too big, and it will destroy everything. And so at that point they realize that they have to evacuate the area so that none of the people will get hurt from the event that's going on. So that all occurs, and they're kind of hopeless at that point until eventually those Rangers report to Tyler and Ivan's, telling them that it's not working and the bomb's too big for them to move, which gives Ivan and Tyler the same idea of getting the bomb using the Megazord and throwing it up into space and throwing it at Sledge's ship, which sadly doesn't do the full impact damage that it could have done, because Sledge manages to actually blast it, which still makes it explode and still makes it hit them and hurt their engines and everything. But it's not as severe as it would have been had it been a direct head-on impact collision with the ship. So it still damages it, but it doesn't destroy the ship. So anyway, following this, we see the Rangers back at the cafe area in the Dinosaur Museum, and we see them talking with each other. Tyler decided to get a present, which you might have guessed is probably for Ivan, yes. And at the same time, Ivan decided to give Tyler a little bit of a present, which was a really nice sandwich. Tyler, on the other hand, gave Ivan the present of a new washed, clean jacket, which is the same jacket that he was wearing, which was the same type of jacket that he was wearing before. It might have just been a brand new jacket. I'm sure it probably was. And so it was a nice moment. And then they decided, you know what? Like Tyler said, you know what? It's time to do a selfie. And so at that point, Tyler and Ivan decided to take some selfies. And just to prove how social media is just ridiculous, Coda decides to photobomb the second picture that they took, which is just hysterical. So and that basically ends the episode, but it's a great little end bit and just kind of fun to see, and really I mean it's a great episode in general. Remember, this is the 800th episode. I think that they had enough humor in here, enough stuff in here to make it fun, interesting, and it worked well. I thought that it was a really, really good episode. I know that in the next episode or so, it's either the next one or the one after it, we are supposed to be getting our Graphite Ranger, I believe. So that should be really, really great. I forget if it's the next one or it's the following one, but it should be soon. It should be either the next one or the following, and we'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that episode. But this one was great. This is 800 episodes now. And hopefully they'll get 800 more episodes in the next 20 years or so. And that would be spectacular. Maybe it'll be even less. I don't know. Hopefully the season lengths increase. Hopefully the show lasts a very, very long time, to the point of 1,600 episodes. I mean, it'd be nice for them to get 1,000 episodes, which they still haven't gotten yet. But I'm sure they'll get there soon enough. I mean, 900 would be nice. 1,000 would be ideal. I mean, you know, it takes a while. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought of this episode. What did you like about it the most? And also, what are you excited for in the coming weeks for the show? Tell me all that below. And I'd love to know anything else you guys are interested in talking about. So anyway, guys, goodbye, guys.